Hey, how are you? How's it going? So we're back from the last iteration of the Philippine International Motor Show, and among the cars that really grabbed my attention and made a real impression with me was the Jaecoo J5 EV. I mean, sure, you've seen us review the Jaecoo J5H EV and we absolutely loved it, but Jaecoo's concept was, what if you take the same car, took the gas engine out, and replace it with a full electric motor? Well, guess what? This one right here just might tug on your heartstrings just a little bit, because it does remind you a lot of what an SUV should look like, but electrified. What's going on, guys? Roy Robles here from Zigwheels.Ph, and today we'll be doing a full review of the Jaecoo J5 EV. Starting off with the front end of the Jaecoo J5 EV. Now, if this looks familiar to you, well, of course, it shares a lot of the design DNA with the Jaecoo J5H EV, but since it's a full electric vehicle, it doesn't need any grills here, so gone is the waterfall vertical grill right here in front. Instead, you got this closed off front end. It gives it a more sleek appearance, in my opinion. Now, one thing I've had complaints about with EVs is that a lot of the EVs, they don't look like cars. They don't look like SUVs, but this one right here just screams that, hey, I'm an SUV, take me seriously. In fact, you got all these boxy lines, boxy proportions, and I don't think it even has too many character lines right here in the front. The only thing that we've seen here is this hint of a power bulge right here on the hood. Now, one thing about driving around in a full electric vehicle is that since you don't have any engines or gas engines right here under the hood, you can do anything. Well, companies can do anything they want with it. Under the hood, they've got a huge frunk inside, and the thing about that frunk is that it's actually got a drain plug, which means you can actually put some ice in it and cool your drinks while you're tailgating, and at the same time drain that out so that you can easily clean it. So a couple of other frunks right here that I've seen in some EVs, they don't have that drain plug. This one, you've got it right here. I like these horizontal DRLs here that actually sandwich this projector LED headlamp. Those are automatic LED headlamps, by the way, which has its advanced driver assist systems. And this Jaecoo badge that's inside this glass enclosure with these diagonal lines here just adds a little bit more to its appeal. Now, one thing about the design of the front end of the Jaecoo J5 EV is how asymmetrical things are. I mean, you've got your slants, you've got your holes right here and active vents whenever you're driving, but you got the BEV typography living right here on that side, adding a bit of flavor, adding more character to the whole design. Overall, this thing definitely stands out by not standing out too much. I mean, it still looks like a SUV, it still looks like a car to me, but at the same time, you know, it hides a little bit something special inside of it. Right here, the side profile of the Jaecoo J5 EV, this is where you start to see exactly where Jaecoo got its inspiration from. Now, it says that Jaecoo says that they're calling this a baby Land Rover design, and I can see exactly why. This blacked out D-pillar right here in the back kind of designs itself a little bit with inspiration from Range Rover. I mean, you got this blacked out C-pillar, D-pillar. It looks like a floating roof design that really reminds you a lot of that classic SUV look. Now, like I said, it's pretty much devoid of any character lines right here on the side, except this nice subtle belt line right there at the bottom and this sharp character line that runs across from the LED headlamp all the way right here to the tail lamp. We'll be checking that out later on. You got 183 millimeters of ground clearance, which means you've got a lot of room to work with, especially when you're driving around in not so ideal roads in the Philippines here. I spoke to a couple of foreigners here in the Philippines, and they told me that driving around here pretty much feels like off-roading. So you definitely need a crossover SUV, and I'm glad that Jaecoo gave us an electrified option at that. You got the 18-inch alloy wheels here with 235/55 R18 tires, and these are aerodynamic tires, so it actually helps out with cutting through wind or air like a hot knife through butter. Here in the side mirrors, you do have these repeater signals. You got a camera that works with the 360-degree camera system, and of course, well, you've got this roof rack on top if you want to put in a couple of your stuff right there. You have to be careful though, because it has a panoramic sunroof there on top, and yeah, it's pretty much all your this SUV, this crossover SUV, doesn't even have black plastic cladding all around because it wants to, hammer down its European SUV styling that it wants to evoke. I like it. Okay, on to my favorite part, my favorite design part of the Jaecoo J5 EV, the rear. I mean, look at it. You got this black bar running across the rear end. You don't have to have an entire light bar run across the back to look premium and look sporty, and this is one of those examples. I mean, look at these intricate looking pods for tail lamps here. You got vertical, or should I say horizontal slants for the tail lamps. They look very futuristic, very modern, very SUV-like in my opinion too. You got this chunky spoiler right on top with a huge rear tail lamp, and if you're wondering where the windshield wiper is, actually neatly tucked underneath the spoiler so that it can look a lot more classy. You got your Jaecoo J5 badge right there on the side, and EV, to let everyone know that you're driving around in the EV variant of the Jaecoo J5. You won't see any exhaust ports right there in the bottom, because why would you need one? I mean, you could install a fake exhaust port if you want, but why would you do that? I mean, you got your camera right here in the back, you got your rear parking sensors. This has proximity sensors all around, by the way, that helps with the advanced driver assist systems, which we'll be talking about later on. And it's also got a power tailgate function to give you access to all this massive space right here on the inside. Now, unfortunately, you won't have any spare tire here included, but you know what? There's a lot of space underneath the floor here that might actually fit a donut spare tire. I mean, look at that. That's a lot of room for an electric vehicle, which is odd to me. So yeah, if you want to add a spare tire here, it can fit a spare tire right here in the back. Now you do have your charger, you have your stuff. This rear floor actually is a multi-level floor, so you want to put it lower, you can do so like there. And if you need even more space here in the back, you can actually fold these rear seats flat in a 60-40 split configuration, so you can fit your ironing boards, your 2x4s, all those longer items that you need to fit into your Jaecoo J5 EV. It can definitely fit all that. I'm really surprised at all the space that we have under the floor here, and I really think that you can fit in a spare tire there if you wanted to, which is, again, an oddity, especially with electric vehicles. Now, when I first reviewed the Jaecoo J5 EV, I was a little bit iffy with their comparison about the Jaecoo J5 and the Range Rover, but with this one here, the Jaecoo J5 EV, seeing it in the metal, I kind of see the comparisons. I mean, not a lot of people can afford a luxury SUV, but they still want the look. They still want the feeling of driving around in one, but they have a subcompact sedan budget, and this one right here definitely fits the bill. I like it. I mean, I like the overall design, and I see myself driving around with this one. I want to know what you think. Drop me a comment in the comment section down below, but in the meantime, let's take a look at the inside, see what else we can find. Right, so we're inside the Jaecoo J5 EV, and right away, I gotta commend Jaecoo for actually not going too overboard with the details right here on the inside. You got this vertically oriented touchscreen infotainment system with both wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, which actually does wonders, especially for smartphone integration. Not a lot of cars these days, especially from newer brands, have both. And this one has both, and wireless as well. You got a fast wireless charger here, 50-watt wireless charger. You got this TFT infotainment screen, well, information screen that you can get all the information that you need during your drive. your range, your battery percentage, your odometer. You won't be able to change how this looks, but as far as I'm concerned, this is all the information that I need. And this screen has an anti-reflective coating to it as well. It's quite the fingerprint magnet though, but it does have this option where you can go and clean the screen and it's going to deactivate itself, so you can easily wipe it around without having to mess around with the touch screen right here, which is pretty smart. So all you have to do is press on it for 5 seconds or hold it for 5 seconds and you're back to your touch screen, which is pretty nice. The steering wheel is adjustable for both reach and rake, and you have both the passenger and the driver seat to have power adjustable seating right here, which is nice. Now, a couple of smart things about the Jaecoo J5 EV is that apart from having this 2 cup holders on top, wireless charger for your phone, another pad for your phone that doesn't wireless charge though, you have these cubby holes underneath here and on the back of the screen. Plus, these leather seats are nice and, well, they're nice and supportive, and they're both ventilated as well. So the Jaecoo J5 is working hard to keep you cool, especially in the summer, in the summer weather. Now, it also has this huge panoramic sunroof on top, which is a pretty nice touch. But this sunroof though does not open up. I mean, it's just a glass roof right there, which is fine by me. I don't need a lot of air coming into the cabin, and this is just a nice touch. Well, you got your control buttons right here on this nice sporty 2-spoke steering wheel with blue stitches on it. You got your volume button, your display button right here, and your cruise control, adaptive cruise control buttons right here on the left side, which is nice. You got your shifter, which is a stock right here on the right side. Let's take a look at the rear seats, second row seats, and see what we can find right there. Oh, that door closes down with a very reassuring thud. But anyway, right here on the inside, the second row seats offer a lot of space. Now, I'm sitting behind my own natural driving position right now, actually even more so because I'm a little stretched out here while I was displaying a lot of stuff here for you in the first row seat. But here I still have a lot of space for my feet and my knees, and most importantly, headroom and shoulder room. I mean, that's pretty much everything that I'm looking for, especially in a crossover SUV, a small crossover SUV. Plus, you got a flat floor. Having a flat floor means it actually fit a third passenger right here in the middle without having any problems, and you know, without having your feet all the way up right here. So that's very useful. You do have a center armrest, 2 cup holders right here. You have the same material for the seats as the front, which just means it's very supportive. It's not too plush though. It's not too soft. It's just right. And I like how these seats are actually molding to my back here. They're not just benches taking out of your local barangay hall. Here, it's definitely very nice. You got a lot of speakers on the inside here. You got 6 speakers on the inside, which means you can enjoy your tunes as you drive. 2 map pockets right here, an aircon vent, 1 USB-A port right there at the bottom, and the windows actually close all the way down, which means less claustrophobia for you. And if you want to use this as your camera car for your YouTube channel, you can always do so. And you got these quarter panel windows on each side, which aid with the visibility. Let's take this out for a spin. We'll be doing a driving test. I want to give you all my all my impressions about how this electric vehicle works out, and maybe, just maybe, you can actually consider getting one of these things. So here we are behind the wheel of the Jaecoo J5 EV, and oh boy, how am I going to explain this? I've been driving around in a multitude of EVs the past few months. The past year, I think we reviewed more than our fair share of EVs to say that I think compared to any other EV in the market today, this one here, it's probably the most honest. I'll tell you why. The range of this EV, the Jaecoo J5 EV, the stated range from Jaecoo is about 461 kilometers. 461 kilometers. I wonder why they just rounded off to 460, but I guess they just added the 1, so you got 461 kilometers. Now, throughout my entire time with the Jaecoo J5 EV, I've driven this through highways, service roads, city traffic, and I think of all the, like I mentioned, of all the other EVs that I have driven, the reason why I call this the most honest is because that quoted range, it's the variance between the real world range of the Jaecoo J5 EV and its quoted range is just so darn close that I'm starting to believe whatever range it says is giving me right here in the gauge cluster, because that's how much I trust it now. Of course, when computing for range, you have to factor in a couple of details about your drive, like idling time, load, speed, and of course heavy traffic. But for those people who think that the bane of an EV's existence is heavy traffic, you got it all the way around. I think the most efficient times that I had the Jaecoo J5 EV is traveling through city traffic as compared to traveling through the highways. Now, around the highways, yes, I'm still getting around the same range, but the variance is a bit lower there. So, for example, the system says that I've got 360 kilometers left on the range and I travel around 20 kilometers. Instead of saying that I reduced 20 kilometers off of my travels, I then go ahead and says that it says there that the variance is going to be around 2% difference. But during city traffic, that's where I experienced it. The reason behind that is that once you're driving around in an EV, you also factor in the region, of course, and you're of course not using a lot of the power once you hit the accelerator pedal. So believe it or not, I like this. If I were to drive around in an electric vehicle and the car that I trust the range the most, it's pretty much a handful of cars these days, and one of those cars is going to be the Jaecoo J5 EV. Under the car, you've got a 58.9 kilowatt hour battery, again as mentioned, rated for 461 kilometers, and it's around 204, 208 horsepower, and does 0 to 100 in just 7.7 seconds. Now, again, those speeds aren't going to be breaking any records, especially for an EV. But the thing about an EV, I think speed, acceleration for me, it's overrated, because even if you've got a lower power rating to be in general, you still won't be feeling a lot of, you won't feel like you're underpowered because of the electric motor. The electric motor doesn't have to spool up unlike a gasoline engine does. So if it says it has 200 horsepower or it has how much horsepower, it doesn't really matter because you get that power instantaneously. And that's something that you have to factor in, especially when driving around in an EV. Power doesn't really mean much. What matters for me in an EV is range, and this one has it. And with power out of the way, you can start to actually understand and appreciate a lot of the other features that you have in a Jaecoo J5 EV. The space, as I mentioned earlier, the features that you have inside, and of course the amenities. So for a driver, as you're driving around a Jaecoo J5 EV, you learn to appreciate the NVH levels on the inside here. Now, again, it's not going to be luxury car levels of NVH inside here, noise, vibration, harshness, minimizations on the inside, but it's perfectly fine. I mean, it definitely feels like a lot like a compact crossover SUV or typical compact crossover SUV. It doesn't feel cheap at all. Now, I'm driving through normal city traffic right now, and I could barely hear anything from the outside unless, of course, someone beeps me from the back or the side, which, of course, is what it's there for. You don't want to keep yourself too isolated, but for pretty much all of the city noise and the city traffic, it's perfectly fine. Now, suspension-wise, you've got a typical McPherson strut up front and a multi-link independent suspension in the back. Now, for a car at this price point and this size, I'd usually forgive it if it had a torsion bar suspension, like a cheaper suspension. But this suspension setup here gives me credence that Jaecoo actually cares about its cars, cares about how it drives and it feels, and they're more like an off-road oriented brand. So I think it would be off-brand if they gave their cars regular suspension. And this one right here, this ain't regular. It actually soaks up a lot of the road imperfections, a lot of ruts in the road, some bumps, some scrapes, and it's easy. And because of the higher ground clearance, you can definitely do that. You can definitely feel a lot of Jaecoo's intentions of, you know, building their brand as more of an off-roading option. And this one here, the Jaecoo J5 EV, it's more akin to a soft roader, and I like how soft it drives. It feels comfortable, yet still planted on the road, even if going through sharp corners. Again, I want to go back to the range because that's where I started. Well, when during this driving impression, the range of the Jaecoo J5 EV is phenomenal. Sure, 461 kilometers doesn't sound like much, but a lot of the other EVs, the variances between the actual range and your coded range is so far apart that, of course, you can forgive a couple of other factors in there. But in this one here, it does try its best to be as frugal as possible. The reason behind that is, of course, the power. Again, like I said, if you're driving around in an electric vehicle, you don't need gobs of torque, gobs of power, because power and torque is already natural. It comes natural with an electric vehicle. So what I believe is brands should focus more on the range instead of the power. So I'd rather be driving around in a 200 horsepower vehicle, when it's 200 horsepower, but not enough, and then get longer range instead of a 400 or 500 horsepower vehicle and get range anxiety on the road. Now, speaking of range anxiety, charging up your Jaecoo J5 EV isn't going to be much of a problem because it has fast charging, DC fast charging up to 60 kilowatt hours. So from 10% to 80%, that can be achieved in just under 30 minutes or so, which is something that I proved because once I charged this outside, it's no problems actually. So I needed to top up the vehicle, and I was able to do so within that allowed time. So yeah, it's no problems with that. The only problems now is, of course, having more chargers on the road, but I think we're getting closer to that particular dream where there's going to be a charger on every corner, but we're still a few ways off. It's no problem. Now, of course, if you do have the ability to connect or at least install a home charger or wall charger, then it shouldn't have been a problem, because once you get home after using your Jaecoo J5 EV on the road, I'd say you'd finish off about 10%. Normal city traffic, normal daily commute, 10% within a day. That sounds something like this car would do. So one thing that you could do is just charge up your vehicle when you're home. Now, if you're worried about damaging your battery, don't be too worried because it's a slow charger. That's the reason why they're installing slow chargers at home instead of fast chargers, because you want to keep your car plugged in when you're not using it at home. And then once you're ready to go, you should be good to go. All right, so when it comes to safety, the Jaecoo J5 EV certainly has that up the wazoo. It's got adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keep assist. It got forward collision warning. You even have parking sensors all around, a 540-degree camera system, which means you can actually see underneath your vehicle as you pass by, which is perfectly great. I mean, again, for a car, what's basically an entry-level SUV, electric, those things are actually good features to have, especially in something like this. You even have blind spot warning right here. That's the sound that you heard earlier, and they're very useful. Now, one thing you do have to know about the Jaecoo J5 EV, though, is that if you want to get all these features available to you, you're not going to have to break the bank. The Jaecoo J5 EV starts at just 1.4 million pesos. And in my opinion, that is quite a value because, well, a couple of years ago, EVs would have been very cost prohibitive because of its new technology. And these days, I'm just glad that you can find a vehicle like the Jaecoo J5 EV that has that price, that's available in that price point, which means that all these great technology, all these great vehicles, they're starting to trickle down to the masses. Me, us, you and I. Something that we can both afford, especially in an installment. The Jaecoo J5 EV certainly is something you might want to consider. And if you ask me, if I were to be in the market for my first car, my first electric car, this would definitely be in my short list. Plus, with a 7-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, 200,000 kilometers, whichever comes first, and an 8-year warranty, or 160,000 kilometers, whichever comes first, on the battery, you're well assured that you can definitely drive your Jaecoo J5 EV for the next, the better part of the next decade without any concerns or problems. So, we got that going for it. So there you have it, boys and girls, our review of the Jaecoo J5 EV. For the first time, I can actually see myself driving around in quite a practical yet affordable electric vehicle without having to worry about range. I mean, what's up with that? I realized that I actually don't need power, I don't need speed, which this thing actually has. And that's the beauty about electric vehicles. You can make it as fast as you want or as economical as you want. But I think this one here just hits the sweet spot in the right time. Drop me a comment in the comment section down below and tell me what you think. Would the Jaecoo J5 EV be your first EV? Would this be the one that's going to wean you away from gas or diesel powered vehicles? I think it has a great chance of doing that. And while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you won't miss any of our videos. Roy Robles from Zigwheels.Ph. I'll see you guys next time.